Eagle, proud symbol of our country, keep on flying high up above, and together we will stand and we'll restore the land. Oh, Eagle, keep on flying, Eagle.
Welcome to Listen to the Eagle. We are live in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm your host, Landon Moore, and the Mitt County's Farm Bureau agent. Y'all give us a call tonight. We've got youth night. I got my little brother-in-law and my buddy, Jack Smith, sitting along beside me tonight, and we want to talk about hunting and fishing, anything in the outdoors. But we just got through with Youth Weekend a little over a week ago, Mr. Paul, and we had a great turnout at our youth hunt. Y'all give us a call and tell us some stories, first deer kills or funny deer kills, whatever, or just good times in the outdoors. Give us a call at 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you're a C Spire customer. Jax, we had a good turnout at the youth hunt, didn't we?
Yes, sir, we did.
We did. We had over 60 kids there, Mr. Paul, and it was a great turnout. We I think we ended up killing 10 deer. Not all of them were right there on the club, but we had surrounding areas and whatnot, and every kid that was associated with the youth hunt, like I said, it was over 60 kids. They had 10 kills. 3 of them were kids' very first deer, so it was great.
Man, that's good. Ain't nothing better than getting the kids out in the woods, Landon.
I know it. We had a great turnout. Mr. Robert Daly came Saturday, and they got to experience a little bit of traditional archery. Mr. Robert, if you're listening tonight, give us a call and let's talk about how good a time we had the other weekend. Also, Mr. Paul's got a guy going to call in here in just a little bit, a guy with Rain Down Ministries. Folks, if y'all have never heard of Rain Down Ministries, I'm going to let him explain his whole organization and all to you. But you want to talk about phenomenal people, Mr. Paul. These are some of the greatest guys that I've met, and I told the guy that started it actually wasn't able to be there, but he sent all of his main crew, and I told the guy's name is PJ Weeks that founded this, and I told him, I said, I have made buddies for a lifetime. They were great guys. They brought a huge skeet range for the kids to shoot. We had a 3D archery range set up. They did my devotionals, or my Bible studies that night, Mr. Paul, and just gave us a bunch of door prizes and everything else. It was great. And Jax, that 3D archery and the skeet shoot was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you were winning it for a while, and then somebody come in there and kind of smoked you, didn't they?
Yeah, Cole came in there.
Cole Wells, he come in there and got you. Mr. Paul, they had a blast now.
Well, that's what it's all about, God, family, and country, Landon.
That's exactly right. Mr. Paul, we got a caller coming at us. Is the guy, Mr. PJ Weeks, the guy I was telling you about with Rain Down Ministries. PJ, you doing all right?
I'm doing well, Landon. How about yourself?
Man, doing great. Too blessed to be stressed. We got about about 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes. We're going to go to break. So I want you to stay with us, but I want you to just start your story and tell it like you was going to tell it for, the long haul, and I'll cut you off when I have to, but I want you to tell the story of Rain Down Ministries, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, Landon. Thank you. And you just tell me when you want me to stop.
Absolutely.
But I grew up following my dad through the woods of the Mississippi Delta. My dad loved me. But he worked, and he worked a lot of hours, and I didn't realize what was going on when I was following through the woods. And our hunting camp, when I was growing up, was a healthy place for young men to be, and for boys to follow their dad through the woods and hear the stories around the campfire. And I remember hearing stories as about an 8-year-old boy of wild hogs that were, hogzillas, and how the guys had to, ride horses to when the dogs would bay. And there was this one story about a hog that came out of the bay and ran through the horse, and they had to put the horse down. And I remember thinking in my mind, how exciting that must have been. But also there was a part of me that said, hey, that's kind of scary too. As an 8-year-old, I don't know if I want to see a hog.
Well, I know exactly.
Yeah, but through that, just the sense of adventure and time with my dad. And I really didn't know what was going on until I was a student at Mississippi State University and ultimately graduated there. Go Bulldogs! And was serving in a church as a youth pastor, and looking across for some young boys in our church, and realizing that we as a culture, really as a country, we've created a culture where we've lost the path to manhood for our boys. If you stand 10, 14-year-old boys up in front of a group and ask them, what does it mean to be a man? And more importantly, what does it mean to be a man of God? You're going to get 10 different answers because we've kind of lost that. What used to happen by default, things like taking responsibility for your life and your decisions, how to be a man of action and take action, how to deal with fear, how to keep commitments, all these principles that God created us to know and understand have really been lost. And so I just simply, as it's not complex, but I just begin to ask, how, as a matter of fact, you're going to hear a beep. That's actually my father calling me now. He has no idea.
PJ, I'm gonna cut you off right there. We got to go to break. Everybody I know is glued in and listening. Stay with us. We're coming right back. Y'all give us a call, 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you C Spire customer like what we are. Give us a call. We'll be right back.
Paul Ott's The Day of the Lord CD-DVD combo set is our free gift to you and your family. The Day of the Lord includes songs like I Am That I Am, Don't Cry for Me, and They Could Not Stop His Love, as well as special sermons by Tom Lester, Dr. Larry LeBlanc, and others. Paul's special holy visits and the printed Don't Cry for Me poster are also included. Get yours by calling 1-800-684-9486 or by letter to New Day of the Lord Ministries Foundation, Box 219, Summit, Mississippi 39666.
Welcome back to Listen to the Eagle. We're live in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm your host and Mitt County Farm Bureau agent, Landon Moore. Give us a call at 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you C Spire customer. Got talking about youth night. We're talking about anything and everything in the outdoors, hunting and fishing, spreading the good news and the good word, and just enjoying faith and friends and family. And we got Mr. PJ Weeks with Rain Down Ministries here with us, and he's telling us the story of how Rain Down Ministries got started. PJ, just pick back up where you left off, man. You got plenty of time.
Yes, sir. Well, I was just saying that I started serving in a local church, North Carrollton Baptist Church in Carroll County, and love those people, and just realized we've lost the path to manhood. And just thinking through, I'm in no way perfect. I'm a sinner saved by grace and desperately need the grace of God every day. But,
Amen.
But how did the relationship with my dad develop, and how did I become the man that I was becoming? And I realized that it was time with my dad.
Right.
You know, the greatest gift that we as fathers can give our children is not money or resources or even opportunity. It's time. And realizing that we live in a day where we're busier than we've ever been. And the one thing that we struggle with is time with our children. Now, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's quality time versus quality time. I spend a lot of quality time with my kids. But the reality is, you know, this, Landon, our kids don't know how to define quality versus quantity.
Right.
They just know they want time.
That's right.
And so we realized that the only way we're going to raise up a generation of young boys to be men and fathers and men to be fathers to their daughters and husbands to their wives, and how we're going to change a generation is begin to teach boys and men how to be men and how to be men of God. How to respect a lady, how to be generous, how to be gracious, how to love your wife when you have a wife one day, how to provide for yourself, how to take responsibility for your life, I know this sounds crazy, but how to work.
Right.
You know, how to use your brain and your energy and your effort to produce and to provide and protect and all of these things. And as crazy as it sounds, in my life, I learned those things from spending time with my dad, more specifically in the woods. Mm-hmm. Now, we went to church, and church was a vital part of who I was growing up. But the time that I was molded into the person I am today was in the woods. And I knew that I could do a hunting camp, that I could bring a group of kids in. We were blessed to have the opportunity, like you and I talked about, Landon, the opportunity to have land and some places to hunt.
Right.
And so back in 2008, I was a pastor of a local church, been in ministry since 2001 and pastored churches for almost 10 years, only 2 churches. And in my church, I said, hey, we're going to take a group of kids hunt. And their dad can come with them. And if a boy doesn't have a dad, we're going to put a guide with them. We're going to put a mentor with them. And every young boy, and now we have some ladies, of course, that hunt, but every young boy has an adult with them.
Right.
And
so PJ, it wasn't just about, and I know the answer to this, but I want to reiterate, it wasn't just about taking a kid hunting. It was about putting somebody in front of them to help grow them emotionally, spiritually, and show them the right steps, and almost it was like a mentorship program, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was that for that short 3 days. It was that young boy knowing that there was a man in his life that loved him.
That's right.
Now, for a lot of them, it was their dad. I can't tell you how many fathers have come to camps and said, man, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I spent a lot of time with my boy, but I've not spent this kind of time with him.
Right.
Where it's focused time together, conversations, laughing in the deer stand, high-fiving during the Sportsman's Challenge. And this is it, Landon, studying the Word of God together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actually opening the Bible together and
Mm-hmm.
walking through some of the programming that we teach. It is a change that happens that changes really the whole family.
Right. Well, I made this statement a while back. I said, if you're a husband and you've never grabbed your wife's hand and you've never prayed with your wife, then you don't have near as strong a marriage as what you think you do. And I can say that now because I never thought I'd be that guy that could do something like that. But me and my wife do it daily. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the marriage that we did. And so I can only imagine, you know, my little one's only 9 months, but I can only imagine how hard it would be to grow up in a family that you know wasn't involved in church and all, because I want my baby to see me praying. I want her to see me, you know, reading the Bible and things like that. And so many kids don't see that. Yeah, they may see mom and dad go to church, but you know, you're very vulnerable when you grab your wife or your child's hand and pray with them. I mean, you're showing them that, hey, daddy's not there's somebody superior to him, you know?
That's right. Well, and the reality is we are image bearers of God. We know that from Genesis 1:26. But 2, as we grow up, we are image bearers from the one we spend the most time with, the one that has the most influence over our lives. So our children are not going to just do what we tell them to do. They're going to become who we are. So if you want your child to become something character-wise, or you want them to be somebody as far as, you know, having integrity and character, then we have to model that before them. Not a picture of perfection,
Right.
but the greatest gift we can give our children is imperfection covered in the grace of Christ.
That's right.
You know how many times we had to look at our boy? You know, I have three kiddos. I tell people I have a daughter. She was born first, Robin Ann, and she's the perfect, most beautiful young lady besides my wife in the world. And then God gave us 2 boys, and they're proof we're born sinners.
I hear you.
But I can't tell you how many times I've had to go to my son William, and I'll get mad, or, you know, we just do things as dad sometimes, and I've had to go to him and say, buddy, look, I was wrong, and I shouldn't have said it like that, or I shouldn't have, you know, been as loud as I was, and I apologize, and would you forgive me for that as we walk through this thing together?
Right.
And then there are times, hey, we have to get on them.
That's right.
we
Look,
have to
my
stay on
mom,
them, and I tell him all the time, I'm doing this while you're 8, so I don't have to do this when you're 18, hopefully, by God's grace. But we found that getting children, youth, into the outdoors.
PJ, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off right there. Stay with us. We're coming right back. I want you to continue this story. Jax, I'm gonna let you take us in the break. Tell folks who to call, and we're here to take it.
We'll be right back
Call
after
us
this
at
break. Call us at 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you're a C Spire customer. We'll be right back.
Legendary entertainer Paul Ott brings you his greatest hits. Get them all in this special CD-DVD combo set, including Old Blue,
Many and a many of an early morn.
I Am Mississippi,
I am everything good you have ever dreamed about.
Right Arm of America, and many more. To order, visit listentotheeagle.com or send $20 check or money order to Paul Ott's Greatest Hits, Box 219, Summit, Mississippi 39666.
Welcome back to Listen to the Eagle. We're live in the Reed's Metal Studio in the beautiful Farm Bureau building. Y'all give us a call at 1-800-251-5891, pound 444 if you're a C-Spire customer. You got me, Mitt County Farm Bureau agent Landon Moore, with my buddy and brother-in-law Jack Smith sitting beside me. Got Mr. Paul Ott on the line with us, and Mr. P.J. Weeks with Rain Down Ministries. P.J., if you would, sir, go just catch right back up where you left off.
Yes, sir. And I have to say up front, too, that my son, William, just came out and reminded me that he is not 8, which I knew that he wasn't 8. And when I said 8 to 18, he's 9. So we're going to go with, I'm doing it now at 9.
That's
so that
right.
When he's 18, I don't have to get him.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you'll be in trouble.
But no, what we realized is that God actually has a design for how young boys can grow up to be men and how we can learn these things. And we didn't know this until we had hunted some 500 or 600 youth hunters over a few years. And I'll be honest with you, Landon, you know, I'm pastoring the church. I love my church. I love what we're doing. And we believe as Christians that the Bible is the foundational truth for all things.
Right.
And so we began to ask questions like this and kind of dangerous questions. Is God okay with hunting? Like, you know, you're killing an animal. You're taking the life of an animal. We know that we love being outdoors. We know we love to hunt. But
you
what
wanted
does
to
God's word
justify
say about those things? Do what now?
You wanted to justify it. You wanted to make.
That's right.
You wanted to have proof.
And so I'm taking these kids hunting. We're literally seeing lives change, families come back together. You know, lots of these things going on. And so what we did is we just said, I want to know God's design for all of this, so that we'll know which direction to take. We want to lead people to a closer walk with Christ, to a better understanding of who God is, you know, through the outdoors, but we really didn't know what God's design for that was. And we came up with really 3 principles, and honestly, it changed everything we do when we understood these 3 principles for what we call God's design for hunting and conservation. And these 3 principles really cover everything in life, from boys becoming men, from fathers loving their wives and their daughters and spending time with their kids, to how we provide and produce. And it's amazing, and it's very simple. It comes from Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. And the first reality is, the first founding principle is that creation is a gift from God to us for us to enjoy. Now, we could talk for hours just on Genesis 1, but it all begins with God. He's the first name in all of the Bible. It all starts with him. It all ends with him. It's all about him and all for him. It's all God.
Sure.
And he is creator, sustainer, provider, protector. He is all things sovereign God. And we see him in Genesis 1 create all these things, and then he creates us. In chapter 1, verse 26, we are more valuable to God than all of the rest of creation. Every human being on the planet is more valuable to God than any deer walking through the woods.
Right.
You know, and we understand that. But the neat thing is in Genesis 1, and I'm not going to get too far into this. But it's so neat, is that he takes creation the way he designed it and created it. And in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, he brings Adam and Eve over, and it says that he blessed them. Now, maybe we don't know the Hebrew and all these things, but if I were to tell you God's going to bless you, I think we're all getting in line with that. Right? We're all in line for that. Well, his blessing to us was creation. He says, be fruitful. We call it the cultural mandate. Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, have dominion over the fish, the seas, and the birds of the heavens. He says it's all yours. Fill the earth. Enjoy the creation that I've given you. And then through that, we cultivate the ground that, we're provided for through the ground. We're going to see that in a minute. But it's amazing when we step outdoors, we see the hand of God on display. And so we see that. And so that's the foundational principle. We teach these things. You see God's hand in all these things. And then, but there's another step, the path to manhood. And I love this, that you have Genesis chapter 2. And in Genesis chapter 2, it's the same creation story as Genesis 1, but it has a different point. God shows our role and our responsibility in creation in Genesis 2. And it says that God took Adam and put him in the garden, verse 15, 16, 17, to work it and to keep it. All right? And then he says, everything's yours, but you also have to protect yourself. Man, when we understood that conservation is a tool by which we get to participate in God's design and teach young people how to be responsible, how to work hard, how to make good decisions, how to take action, all of these things.
That's right.
God put Adam in the garden, and he said, buddy, if it's going to produce for you, if you're going to eat the food from the garden, you got to work it.
That's right.
And notice this, he didn't have tools. He had to be an entrepreneur. He had to create things. He had to figure out how to get that, if you will, that tomato out of the ground so that he could eat it.
Sure.
And for us, that's the conservation side. We don't, we actually teach wildlife stewardship and management, and not because the deer are the point, but the kid is the point.
That's right.
And
well,
for
I
us,
know
it's the tool.
It was either you or one of your guys made a statement to me, something about that kids love coming and helping y'all plant food plots, and then going back in that same food plot that they helped plant and see how much it's grown, and harvesting a deer from it. And that's so rewarding. PJ, hang with us. We're going to another break. Y'all give us a call at 1-800-251-5891 or pound 444 if you're a C Spire customer like we are. Give us a call. We'll be right back.
Paul Ott's The Day of the Lord CD-DVD combo set is our free gift to you and your family. The Day of the Lord includes songs like I Am That I Am, Don't Cry for Me, and They Could Not Stop His Love, as well as special sermons by Tom Lester, Dr. Larry LeBlanc, and others. Paul's special holy visits and the printed Don't Cry for Me poster are also included. Get yours by calling 1-800-684-9486 or by letter to New Day of the Lord Ministries Foundation, Box 219, Summit, Mississippi 39666.
Welcome back to Listen to the Eagle. We're live in Jackson, Mississippi. Give us a call at 1-800-251-5891, pound 444 if you're a C Spire customer. I'm your host, Landon Moore, and got my buddy Jack Smith sitting along beside me. It's youth night. Y'all call in and tell us anything that's going on in the outdoors. Phone just got through ringing, so it looks like we got a caller coming in. PJ, if you want to continue where you were, where we just left from before we went to the break, and then we'll go to that next caller.
Absolutely. What we see is that he gave us the responsibility for it. And for us, then that just shows that conservation is the tool, the hard work and the initiative that you sit in a shooting house. God didn't just drop that down out of the sky. You hunt over a food plot, even, you hang a ground blind, or you not hang a ground blind, hang a tree stand or put a ground blind up. All of this takes work, and it takes energy, and we're using our brains for something, something that matters.
That's right.
And so for us, we don't let kids just shoot any animal. Now, there is nothing wrong with letting a child shoot a deer, his first deer, and shoot anything that's legal.
That's right.
I want to say that up front. We are not big buck hunters, and but we do believe that a mature deer herd, a healthy deer herd, will have large deer in it.
That's exactly right.
But we teach, we use that, and I'll move on pretty quick from that, but that's a tool for us. So these kids come, and, it might be a local church that brings a crew, or local communities bring crews to the hunting camp. And we start off, we have whiteboard sessions. We teach these principles, and then when they come back in, we meet at the whiteboard. How many deer did you see? Did you see a spike? Well, we tell them, a young deer, you're going to see them all the time, these spikes. So name them. Have fun with them. How many times did you see Fred today? How many times did you see, Jimmy today? Whatever they come up with a name for. And what we have found is that a kid is eager to shoot something, which is fine, but when they begin to take responsibility for what's going on, knowing the decisions they're making today will affect the next year when they come back, or the people that come after them, it is amazing how quickly a child's demeanor changes and how quickly they have fun with taking part in the whole process.
PJ, I thank you for tying everything in. We've got a little over a minute. Tell folks how they can reach y'all, how they could get in contact with you, or whatever's easiest for them to do if they can learn more about you.
Yes, you can go to raindownministries.com, RAINDOWN ministries.com. We're reworking our website, but that'll get you in contact with us. We're here to help churches implement outdoor ministry programs in their church in Mississippi. And we host hunting camps or refuge hunting camps in Tallahatchie County. Fathers and sons, families can come. The biggest thing is to call me. We're on Facebook. You can look us up, raindownministries.com on Facebook. And if you have questions, just call me. Can I give my number?
Absolutely. Give it out.
Yeah, it's 601-344-8777. And don't be afraid to shoot me a text or call me with any information. If you're a church out there saying, I want to be a part of this, or your community, we can host hunts, we can have you, we can work with. There's so many opportunities, and the easiest way to do is just to call me or shoot me a text.
Y'all get a kid out in the outdoors, and we're going to close the night with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and glory forever and ever. Amen.